Just hours before leaving on his first trip to the Middle East as president, Mr. Obama reasserted his support for Israel, but he also suggested there is a need for the U.S. to give Israel some tough love.
Part of being a good friend is being honest. And I think there have been times where we are not as honest as we should be about the fact that the current direction, the current trajectory in the region is profoundly negative, not only for Israeli interests, but also U.S. interests.
The president leaves tonight for a 6-day trip that will take him to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Germany, and France. He will not be visiting Israel. Raghida Dergham is senior diplomatic correspondent for the London-based Arab newspaper El Hayat. Raghida, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you. Thank you.
The president's first stop is going to be in Saudi Arabia, of course, which is the religious capital of Islam. It was a hastily arranged trip. How did this come about? Was it in part because the Saudis pushed the White House to have them make a stop in Saudi Arabia before he went on to give this big speech in Egypt?
Well, Saudi Arabia is very important for the region, believe it or not, because it is a leader in the moderate camp for the Arab world. Egypt and Saudi Arabia are both in the lead for the moderate camp. And also Saudi Arabia has become a partner in the G20, which is, of course, as you know, the group of major countries who are working on the economy. Of course, Saudi Arabia is the custodian of the two holy places for Islam. So all of this, if he's giving a message to Islam, it was a good idea to stop in Saudi Arabia and go on to Cairo.
But don't you think it's interesting, Raghida, that Saudi Arabia was not initially on the trip plans and then it was added?
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think the speech itself couldn't have been delivered from Saudi Arabia. I think also there is a lot of bilateral relations that need to sort of go on, because Saudi Arabia is playing a major lead and a role in that sort of, you know, how do we deal with the region beyond the Palestinian-Israeli issue? Iran, for example, is a very important issue, and Saudi Arabia becomes rather important for the American interest when we speak about oil as well. So was it added in haste? I don't know really the background, but I think it's an important stop.
Let's turn to Israel, of course, and this comes as there is increased pressure on President Obama to get Israel to freeze the growth of these settlements. How is that being received in the Arab world?
You know, Nora, the Arab world, from their point of view, they put forward a full plan. It is the Arab Peace Initiative. It is not only about freezing settlements. It's about making peace with Israel. And that's what they really would like to see come through, that the Israelis will come up with their own plan for peace. Of course, the president's pressure on the settlements is very welcome, but it shouldn't stop there from their point of view. The issue is not only freezing settlements. They want really to arrive at a peace package with Israel so that that issue could be put behind. I think the very fact that the president is engaged is important, but I think they expect that the president of the United States do what's right, not only that he would do what's possible.
Raghida Dergham, Raghida, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nora.